So what we saw in the UK was the future for Mahindra Electric, but what we have today is the present for Mahindra Electric. Let me introduce you to the all-new Mahindra XUV 400, or the first ever even numbered Mahindra. Let's begin. Now let me start by talking about the design elements of the XUV 400. While it does bear resemblance to the XUV 300, there are a lot of distinctive changes that this has. First things first, Mahindra has integrated a new copper based design for the twin peaks, copper colored actually for the rest of the car. For instance, you see this blacked out grille here with these copper elements, and for the dual tone you have a copper finish for the roof. You also have these copper elements on other elements of the car as well, and also on the interior, but more on that later. Let's talk about the overall looks and design of the exterior. Yes, it does bear a resemblance, like I said, to the before generation, but since it's electric, it obviously doesn't need a grille here or here. So you have blanked out bits with these X designs on the front. Also, looking at the headlights, you continue to get the projector headlights that you got before. Not LED though, but you do get an LED DRL here. Now when I talk about the bumper in general, I feel that they could have added fog lights here to improve the generic look of the front, and they could have added some more elements that would make it look pretty nifty. But that being said, I like these copper elements that you see in the front, which certainly make it look a little more different than its sibling. Now let's move to the side of the XUV 400. Now when you look at the overall side silhouette of the XUV 400, yes, like I said, it does resemble its sibling, but there is one very distinctive point, and that is its length is now 4200 mm, which makes it bigger than the 4 meter category. And what you see that is in the boot space that it has. Nonetheless, let's talk about the side. Yes, again the side looks very similar. You have all of these creases that you have before. Again, you have some nice copper elements here, and you have the copper element paint on the roof, and the bumper cladding has also been improved slightly. Other than that, this side profile is pretty similar, but the rear is where things have actually changed. Now talking about the overall rear design of the XUV 400, yes, it does bear resemblance, like I said, to the before vehicle, but there are distinctive changes as well. For instance, I love the design that the LED taillights have. They look extremely futuristic and have a nice copper element here, and they are finished in clear. Again, you have the Twin Peaks logo here finished in satin copper, which is Mahindra's new electric color, and you have the XUV 400 logo finished here in satin copper as well. When you look at the bumper, yes, it does look similar, but it doesn't have an exhaust note because there is no exhaust, because it's an electric car after all. Now there is one thing I really love, is this is the roof spoiler, because it is actually functional, because it has air ducts in it. That's nice touch, Mahindra. Again, you have a nice functional roof rack as well, and that covers the overall exterior design of the XUV 400. Let's move inside. Now when you move to the interiors of the XUV 400, things are pretty similar as before, but there are certainly modernized features as well. For instance, the interior is now all black with this nice blue accents on the seat and perforated leather for the seats as well. Talking about accents, there are some nice satin copper accents on the inside, such as your AC knob, your gear knob, your volume knob, and the vents around the ACs as well. They're all finished in this copper color, which looks fantastic. Now, while the overall interior fit and finish is pretty good, there are a lot of plasticky bits that, yes, is decent enough, but not the best. Also, this screen now feels pretty dated because this is from the earlier XUV 300. Now, there are two things that I noticed about the XUV 400 that doesn't have. One is the fact that it doesn't have an auto dimming rear view mirror, and it used to come previously with dual climate zone, but now it's single zone. Why, Mahindra? Nonetheless, the overall finish is nice. There is a lot of space when you sit. Seating position is pretty decent as well. The seat can be adjusted in multiple ways, 6 ways actually, and the cushioning is good as well. So overall, decent interiors. While the interior is pretty much similar to the XUV 300 in terms of space, so although the seat is set to my height, yes, my knees are touching, but I still have some space. Also, I have some space underneath my legs to store my legs, and I have a decent amount of headroom as well. The seats again are very comfortable, and it does have a lot of nice lumbar support, which is nice. You have a nice set of view on the outside with these large windows and a decent sunroof that lets air inside and light inside. Doesn't make it feel very claustrophobic, although it's an all black interior. So overall, interiors are good, but the best thing about it is the boot. Let's go there. Now ask anybody who had the XUV 300 and they would hate the fact that they had a small boot. But that is not the case anymore. With 418 liters of boot space, the boot has a lot of space now, and the seats can be folded to further increase the space, which means you can actually fit luggage in the rear. And you also have a spare wheel down here. So yes, the boot space has increased, and that is where you see the length of the car increase, that is in the boot, and slightly on the interior space as well. So powering the Mahindra XUV 400 is a 39.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack that produces 150 PS and 310 Newton meters of torque, which Mahindra claims is the most in this segment. It has 3 driving modes, which are fun, fast and fearless, fearless being its most sporty mode. It also has one mode which is for regenerative braking, known as L mode, in which the regenerative braking is at its max. Now most of you must be wondering how much range does this have, and this offers a range of nearly 456 claimed kilometers, which means that this can do your daily commutes multiple times effortlessly. But when you do need to charge this takes 13 hours using a 3.3 kilowatt-hour wall plug. Using a 7.2 kilowatt-hour AC charger, you can charge it in 6.5 hours, and using a 50 kilowatt-hour DC fast charger, you can charge the XUV 400 from 0 to 80% in just 50 minutes. Now, with that out of the way, let me talk about the steering, the brakes, the handling, and the overall safety of the XUV 400. If you ask me the steering, I felt it to be extremely light, which does make it very maneuverable in the city. But the downside is that I wanted to push the car on the test track of Mahindra, and I wanted the steering wheel to feel a bit more weighty because it did not have that weight in it. Nonetheless, if you're in the city, you would really enjoy the light steering wheel that it has. Moreover, the suspension is extremely tuned as well. I again was driving on a very smooth surface, so I did not get to experience the suspension as such. That is something I would love to experience later on. But nonetheless, I was really impressed with the suspension because it held its ground pretty well. I did not feel a lot of body roll, and it allowed me to take corners very effortlessly. Speaking about corners, before every corner, I was really slamming onto the brakes, and this has a good amount of brakes. It has 4 disc brakes on all wheels, but I did notice that when I was going really fast and slowing down, the car would swerve slightly. Now that is something I want to experience out on the open road, because this is still a pre-production car. Nonetheless, it certainly has the acceleration, because Mahindra claims that this can do 0 to 100 in just 8.3 seconds and 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds. And you can certainly feel that when you're in the car. Slam onto the accelerator when you are in the fearless mode, and it certainly picks up its pace effortlessly, no matter if you're alone or if you have a passenger along. This doesn't feel like a city car at all when you slam the accelerator. That being said, yes, it does have its downside, that in its fearless mode, you do deplete the range quite a lot pretty quickly. So if you really want to have fun, you would not usually use fearless mode that often. All in all, the car is quite a well-built package. The suspension, the handling, the dynamics, the driving and the braking are all good. It certainly has all of the Mahindra's safety features that you would expect apart from ADAS, such as ABS, EBD, traction control and more. So all in all, a good package if you ask me, and it certainly makes it a good competition to its competitors. Now you must be wondering why the car's color has suddenly changed to this blue. It is because I am actually celebrating World EV Day with Mahindra with the launch of the XUV 400. Nonetheless, while I was only given a short time, I was pretty impressed with the vehicle as such at the Mahindra test facility when I drove it. To be honest, it has the performance, and the drawback that people had with the XUV 300 was the boot space, which it now rectifies. When you look at its competition, this certainly is slightly bigger compared to its competition, which is the Tata Nexon EV and also the MG ZS EV and the upcoming Kona EV. I am presuming that this will be priced around the 20 lakh rupees margin, which certainly makes it a good consideration for anybody looking to buy their next EV. Because yes, I have to admit that the future is slowly going electric. With that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to BBC Top Gear Magazine India. This is Yash Sunil signing off. Bye-bye.